Hello, how you doing? We're doing another CinemaWins reaction video on a Harry Potter movie. So this is our only second movie, this time on Chamber of Secrets, of course. And I don't have too much to say about my opinion on this movie, except I like it. I actually think it. I mean, it does seem like there's a split opinion on whether or not it's better or not as good as Sorcerer's Stone or Philosopher's Stone, whatever. And I think Chamber of Secrets is better, just because I think it has a more intriguing story. Like, I would, of the 8 movies, I would say it feels the most like a mystery movie. Like the way it, you find out, like, oh, who opened the chamber, who opened it like 50 years ago, and all that. And I find it pretty interesting. And also Kenneth Branagh is really fun as Lockhart. So, yep, not much else to say. Let's get the Cinema Wins reaction over with. I don't need the subs on. All right.
A little contrast between Muggleland and Wizard World right off the bat. Every house in the Dursleys' neighborhood is the same, uniform, stifling, and bland.
It's all the same.
Dobby's CGI is really not that bad for 2002.
Dobby.
Pretty detailed. They even added dust particles in the air from him jumping on the bed. Also, my
Oh, I never knew the dust was there. Dobby looks really good all these years later. I mean, this did come out the same year that Two Towers came out with Gollum, so I guess it's not too surprising, but still, this was back when computers were, boxes, so, I still think it's impressive.
wife thinks he's just the cutest.
I mean,
Personally,
who
I think
doesn't?
He looks like a hairless cat.
Never has he been asked to sit down by a wizard.
Thoughtfulness.
Ruined the punchline of my Japanese golfer joke.
So then he prevented racism. That's worth a win.
Yes.
Uncle Dursley is so easy to despise. The way he talks, the angle at which he's filmed. Classic hateable character. And whenever he's being too mean, I just picture Drebin trying to buff the birthmark off his butt.
Oh.
What is this dessert? It's not cake. Pudding in the shape of a cake is my American showing. As hard as these intros always are to the soul, they give a real sense of relief and elation as a contrast to Hogwarts. I don't think I'd get that warm fuzzy feeling if Harry just started at Hogwarts every year.
That's true. Oh, ad right off the bat. A little weird that we don't see him at the Dursleys at the beginning of every movie, but it's fine.
Quick little misdirection. Must be Hagrid on his flying bike again, right? Nope. Much more exciting.
Yeah, there's
So
a flying
when
car.
the beast earns a girl's love, will the knitting needles and scrubber turn back into humans? Wait.
Oh, I could beat in the beast, yeah. That's what he said, right? Yeah. Emma Watson is in this too.
Not much, but it's home.
I think it's brilliant.
Another simple moment from Harry that really makes you care for him. A house of love is all you could ask for.
Oh, that's true.
Best hope I don't put bars on your window, Ronald.
Molly.
Come on, Harry. Time for a spot of bread.
There's a whole other movie in here recounting Mrs. Weasley's bipolar disorder, but it warms the heart to see someone care for Harry.
I love that scene. No, she's so funny.
Young love, where
Jenny.
admiration, infatuation, and addiction all get blurred together, and running away is always your best flirting option.
So I heard that, maybe it's too early to talk about, but I heard that Ginny and Harry's relationship was much better in the books. I don't remember it that well because I know the movies. When I saw them together in Half-Blood Prince, like talking, I was like, I don't really see them together. I just found it kind of cringy. But apparently the movies ruined that. But I really have to read the books sometime again, or reread the books. But I feel like we're getting ahead of ourselves. But oh well.
Enchanted car of yours to Surrey and back last night.
Did you really?
How'd it go?
And a family continuity win, considering all the mischief Fred and George get into in the future.
Yeah.
Blue powder, because being consumed by green fire really is the only way to travel.
That face Harry makes, like, whoa, where'd he go?
Finally, some really witchy-looking witches. Is that racist? It feels racist.
A little.
Ha! Get it? Lockhart? Because he has a secret locked in his heart?
Ha ha.
Rolling, you and your names. I'm not knocking the organizational style of wizards, but sometimes I just can't handle things. Like this stack of books. What are you supposed to do with that? But it is a unique aesthetic that goes along with nothing ever being plumb, level, or square. Gives the wizarding world some real age.
No, what's funny about him is that I later found out, that's Kenneth Branagh. He also directed the first Thor, and I was like, wait, really? I never saw Lockhart directing a Marvel movie. Apparently he did. And then I later on learned, actually he's a really popular actor and director who's done a lot of great work. Like, he's been in the last few Christopher Nolan movies, and he's directed, what else has he directed? Actually, I can't remember anything that I've seen, at least. I mean, I've seen his Cinderella remake, which I thought was all right. But yeah, so good actor too, considering he was just a bumbling idiot in this one, and he pulled that off really nicely. I just find him really funny.
Leave him alone.
Standing up for your friend slash obsession. What's it like to know that you make a great villain? Does Jason Isaacs lay in bed at night and think, you know, my fans believe I'd totally revel in burning people alive in a church? Or kidnap and experiment on people. P.S. Go watch the OA.
I mean, I think I've only seen him or heard him as the villain when he was the Grand Inquisitor in Star Wars Rebels. So yeah, he's always a villain. No disrespect to Jason Isaacs, but you know.
More to the point, another on-the-nose name from Rowling that may be more subtle in written word. Lucifer, Malice, Foil. A little
Interesting.
character continuity with Mr. Weasley interrogating the muggles in the background.
What is the purpose of a rubber duck? He didn't win that joke. That's a missed win.
Vacant expression.
Now, he may be as ginger as the day is long, but if my previous video proved anything, it's that Ron is anything but vacantly expressed. One book out,
Yeah.
2 books in.
Oh yeah, I love
sleight of
that.
hand getting Tom's diary into Ginny's possession.
Oh no! The invisibility booster must be faulty.
Beautiful, fun, intense sequence. And Harry gets an Armstrong twin.
Oh,
So in
yeah.
the first movie, Harry taking the train to Hogwarts was special enough because it was the first time. Now, Rowling decided to make him even more special by having him and Ron arrive by car. And obviously almost get murdered by a tree in the process.
The Whopping
Point is, Harry
Willow.
is never status quo, which makes us all feel special.
Yeah.
Tonight might well be the last you spend in this castle.
Probably better outside the castle anyway, with Walder Red Wedding Frey lurking around.
Not to mention the damage you inflicted on a Whomping Willow that's been on these grounds since before you were born.
Alan Rickman and his conservational sensibilities is still always a win.
Yep.
Mandrake, or mandragora, is used to return those who've been petrified to their original state.
Petrification shadowing?
Say it. I'm doomed.
You're doomed.
Honesty. Is Neville hung from something in every film? 2 out of 2 so far.
Oh yeah, he was hung in Sorcerer's Stone. That one. That sounded wrong. Like I don't mean like that kind of hang. I feel like that came out wrong, but oh well.
Rodeo Pixie.
Immobulus!
Hermione's always saving the day.
Saving all your friends.
At least no one on the Gryffindor team had to buy their way in.
Another sick Incendio.
Eat slugs.
I saw a meme about that where it's like every single spell in the Potter universe, it has a Latin incantation to it, except this one. Apparently, you have to, instead of a Latin incantation, you have to say "eat slugs." Apparently, and then it backfires since his wand is broken. But yeah.
This is the first of many nopes in this movie, but it does set up Lockhart's memory
Ew.
spell for later. But still, no.
Yeah,
I can imagine
no.
everyone involved in the first film was a little nervous to see how these child actors would turn out. Most improved goes to Emma Watson, who just gets better and better as time goes on.
She does,
You
yeah.
get to think of a spell that our Hermione can't do. Don't you think on it, Hermione. Don't you think on it for 1 minute.
Sympathy, sensitivity, friendship, heck, even eloquence. Hagrid is just the best.
Who doesn't love Hagrid?
Is as celebrity does. Remember that.
Can I give a win for self-assured nonsense? I think so. It's rubbish, but he thinks it's crucial.
We just found him when he said...
When I said I wasn't hungry.
Let this be a lesson to you kids. If you don't want adults to be constantly suspicious of you, don't constantly lie.
Literally.
In the Wizarding world, hearing voices isn't a good sign.
She's right, you know.
Phew. So as long as I just hear pictures talking, I'm not crazy. Got it.
Salazar Slytherin believed magical learning should be kept within all magic families, purebloods. Unable to sway the others, he decided to leave the school.
I'm confused. Everyone gave me a hard time for calling Slytherin House evil, but was Salazar not a failed magical Hitler?
He literally was. Like, yeah, Slytherin really was kind of Hitler back then. Like, being all racist against muggles. Yeah. So, actually, there's that whole thing about Slytherin House being evil. I know some people kind of criticize the J.K. Rowling for that, where it's like, why is there an entire house for evil kids? I mean, I kind of get that, but at the same time, I'm just like, I'm kind of neutral on that. I mean, I don't know. I don't really know what to feel about that. I just kind of like, sure, it exists.
Gotta shout out the detail in this film again. Even though the blackboard writing is oddly backwards, anyone have any inside knowledge on that? It's not because it's a flipboard, it's horizontally backwards. Is this entire scene shot in a mirror? Anyway, it's extremely detailed, as is everything in Hogwarts. Every piece of furniture, every book in the library. Constantly impressed.
Yeah, it does look like not lived in, but like it's a place that's been around for a long time. Well, we know it's been around for like hundreds of years, I'm pretty sure. I don't know exactly how long, but yeah.
The blending of CG with actual actors in the Quidditch match is much more seamless this time around.
Yeah, it does look a little
Flying
better in
Bee,
this
stop using
one.
Mighty Ducks moves. As if Quidditch isn't entertaining enough to watch, it is. Pretty much every time we see Harry on the pitch, something or someone is trying to kill him. And the chase in and out of the support structures adds a whole new level of danger.
Yeah. Fun fact, John Williams does the score for this one. This came out the same year that Attack of the Clones came out, and John Williams is also doing that movie. Apparently, there was during that this
Or someone is trying to kill him. And the
during this scene when Harry is in there was actually some music from Attack of the Clones that was accidentally put in here. It was like some generic action music. And yeah, it was kind of like a oops kind of thing that it just kind of happened. So I remember I heard that. I was like, oh, that's literally Star Wars music that just accidentally popped in there because he was doing Attack of the Clones at the same time. Like, oops.
chase in and out of the support structures adds a whole new level of danger. Saving your friend. Again. Seriously, everyone would be dead like 10 times over if Hermione wasn't around.
Literally.
Fix that arm of yours straight away.
Not you.
Intuition.
Point is, you can no longer feel any pain.
Nah.
Dude, like that's what was that actually? What kind of effect was that? Like, was that? I'm guessing it was rubber or something. I'm not sure. Oh man, it looks really good.
Skelegro, bona fide results. Come on, I didn't even need to make a pun. It's right there in the bottle.
Skelegro. Oh, it literally does say that.
Should have said bon appetit.
The Chamber of Secrets has indeed been opened again.
Again? You mean...
Man, you really threw that out there, Columbus, didn't you?
Okay, this is the entrance? Oh yeah, it
Myrtle's
is.
voice has to be mentioned. She has a serious range from these low growls to high-pitched screeches, and an infectious laugh. Shirley
Yeah.
Henderson's line delivery in general is superb.
And there's this weird meme that apparently a lot of people thought that was Daniel Radcliffe playing Myrtle in a wig. And apparently Daniel himself was even asked about that. And he was like, no. So that was a thing apparently. Hold on, I gotta hear Snape say this.
Screeches, and an infectious laugh. Shirley Henderson's line delivery in general is superb.
Expelliarmus!
Did I mention Alan Rickman is a win? I really need to learn that smug smile with your mouth only that Snape has mastered.
The way Alan delivers any line is always amazing.
Potter.
You wish.
Self-confidence.
Rictus Emperor!
Would it have been confusing if Malfoy started laughing after the tickling spell? Probably a good call to just look stunned.
It's kind of weird that every spell they shoot at each other except the one where Draco creates a snake. They all kind of do the same thing where they just kind of shoot each other back. If I remember right. Yeah, kind of weird.
Et tu, Ginny? Et tu?
Was Ginny writing in a... Was she writing in a diary? That's a cool detail if that's what it was.
Et tu, Ginny? Et tu?
Well, that CG looks really good.
Now, that's an impressive 2002 CG transformation.
Wow.
Hell.
And some major props to the actress portraying Crabbe and Goyle for pulling off Harry and Ron flawlessly. Great lip syncing as well.
I was confused by that when I first saw this because I was like, I remember in the books, like, oh wait, the Polyjuice Potion changed their voices too. It was kind of like, why doesn't it change their voice? I mean, I kind of get why they changed that because I think they just wanted to make sure audiences weren't confused, they wanted them to remember this is Harry and Ron as Crabbe and Goyle, remember that. So I get it, it's fine. And it is weird though in Goblet of Fire when Barty Crouch Jr. takes the Polyjuice Potion and his voice changes to Mad-Eye Moody, so that's a bit of a inconsistency. But even then, I feel like you could explain that by saying maybe Barty Crouch Jr. had a special kind of Polyjuice Potion or something. I don't know. That's my headcanon anyway.
Let this be a lesson to you kids. If someone ever claims their name is Riddle, assume it's at the very least an anagram or a pseudonym.
Yeah. How long did it take Tom or Voldemort to come up with that? Tom Marvolo Riddle. And then how long did it take him to come up with that anagram to change to I am Lord Voldemort? Like, it's just funny for me to think about.
This piece of Williams' score was used in the restricted section of the library scene from the last movie, and it's such a perfect fit for setting the uncomfortable tone of mystery in this scene. Goodness, I love the desaturation of this memory sequence. And it seems like they may have oversaturated Harry's red sweater to make him stand out as well. Such a functional aesthetic.
Is there something you wish to tell me?
No, sir. Nothing.
Mirror moment of Dumbledore asking Harry the same question and Tom offering the same response.
Yep.
Is there something you wish to tell me?
No, sir.
Really plays into the film's theme of choice.
Yep. We're not so different, you and I. Also, the way Dumbledore looks here, like, it's like, this is like not too long after the Fantastic Beasts movies. Like, what happened to him, man? He aged a lot in a short amount of time. Like, weird.
We are a game. Hufflepuff doesn't stand a chance.
This match has been cancelled.
Well, of course it is. Only Gryffindor and Slytherin are allowed to play each other in Quidditch.
Yeah, I'd noticed.
Well,
my son didn't.
don't they fight Hufflepuff in the next movie? Because I know Cedric Diggory was in there.
Already here, Fudge.
Quality shift in music and tone as Lucius enters the room.
That help will always be given at Hogwarts to those who
ask for it.
Clairvoyance and generosity.
I just love that Dumbledore knows they're under the cloak, and apparently, I'm just remembering that weird theory that apparently that people theorize that Ron is actually Dumbledore, but I don't want to really talk about that. Oh, the spiders. Yep.
Nope. Nah.
Yeah, if you're an arachnophobe, close your eyes.
Nah, no thank you. I'm not even sure what's happening in this scene. Aragog said he's not the monster, but he's afraid of the monster. But I don't believe him, and I hate everything about this. Every spider's biggest fear. Ford to the rescue.
Glad we're out of there.
Did I mention no? Stop it.
We know one thing. Hagrid never opened the Chamber of Secrets.
Those of us with arachnophobia, thank you, Harry, for that summary. Something that wasn't in the books that's a nice little addition to Lockhart's character. Because of course he has multiple hairpieces.
Of course he does.
Have to love the entrance hiding in plain sight and in a plain sight.
Nice wordplay there.
Save the girl. How you two tragically lost your minds at the sight of her mangled body.
Just in case you were feeling a little bad for the coward, he gives you some great reasoning to further despise him.
Yeah. And it backfires.
Who am I?
And we finally get the payoff of the slug spell from earlier.
Yep.
I feel the need to point out how insane it is how many underground locations there are throughout Hogwarts that none of the teachers can find. But the set design is phenomenal. Even better than the third floor passage from the first film.
No, it looks really good. How many secret passages and rooms are there in Hogwarts anyway? Because I feel like there's a lot. And there's that room with the Mirror of Erised that Harry found in the first movie. There was where the Sorcerer's Philosopher's Stone was. There's the Chamber of Secrets. There's what was in the other movies? Well, look at the Room of Requirement. That's another one. There's probably some other room I'm not thinking of.
Albus Dumbledore is the greatest sorcerer in the world.
Loyalty. And thanks for the hat, Fox.
Yeah.
Another really
Is that kind of a Deus Ex Machina? I feel like that might be the one example of an actual one. Because it's like, Harry would have been screwed if Fox wasn't there. Like, Fox just kind of was just this thing that helped. Well, it's not really Deus Ex Machina because Dumbledore does say that, a Phoenix will only come when you need him the most, basically. So they did set it up earlier. But it's still kind of weird. Like, it's kind of weird because, like the writer essentially just came in. Oh, by the way, Harry, here's a sword for you to fight the snake or the basilisk. And it's like, okay, he couldn't have figured that out on his own, but oh well. I mean, I still like the movie. I still like the movie for what it is, but that's still a little weird.
Impressive combination of practical and CG effects.
Oh yeah, no, that snake looks really good.
Brutal. A piece of continuity that likely went unnoticed by most. Every time the basilisk strikes the rocks, his nose and jaw get a bit bloodier. They could have easily passed over it as if its nose was mostly indestructible.
Oh, that's cool. Ooh.
You know, I can understand why Voldemort might not like Harry so much. This is now the third time Harry's destroyed him, the first when he was a baby.
Yeah, and he destroyed a Horcrux there, the first one. That's cool.
Fawkes is a robot, but he was such a believable robot that Richard Harris actually said something to the effect of how impressed he was at how well they had trained the bird.
I heard about that, yeah. That's honest. That's one of the funniest behind-the-scenes stories.
Sufficient evidence to have you both expelled. It is only fitting that you both receive special awards for services.
Wouldn't be a Harry Potter movie without a disciplinary fake-out reward.
I just can't get that meme out of my head about Dumbledore being biased and awarding Gryffindors too many points. I can't get that meme out of my head now. Aww.
Dobby's free. Was he just about to use the killing curse on Harry?
Yeah.
Voldemort would have been pissed, but thank goodness for Dobby.
Why would he do that outside of Dumbledore's office? Like, that's the worst place to do it, dude.
And oh, sweet vindication. Hermione's unpetrified.
Aw.
You can't help but get all warm and fuzzy watching these three interact with each other. You get a real sense of their friendship.
Oh, yeah.
I'd just like to say thanks.
Aw.
After being accused of petrifying people, it's great to see Hagrid getting a little recognition. And Robbie Coltrane really nailed his performance again.
It's a bit of a cheesy scene with everybody just clapping. Like, yeah, really cheesy, but it's fine.
If Philosopher's Stone was the origin story, Chamber of Secrets is the first true adventure. Since these books and subsequent movies were written with a growing audience in mind, which is genius by the way, each entry gets a little more serious.
Yep.
I think most people would credit Prisoner of Azkaban with the darkest shift, but I think 1 to 2 was the biggest shift.
No, I think Azkaban had a bigger shift, but I would say that Chamber was definitely a little darker than Stone.
Various things to happen in the first film were back of head guy who was dispatched by the power of love touch, and a dumb troll that the least capable wizard knocked unconscious. No offense, Ron, but sometimes you suck at wizarding. Still love you.
Yeah.
In Chamber of Secrets, we get almost murders, spiders that haunt my nightmares, and a more fully formed Voldy. I know I joked about Voldemort being mad at Harry, but I do have some questions about the implications of Voldemort's consciousness and how a 16-year-old Tom Riddle actually fits in. I guess ultimately it's interesting that we get multiple incarnations of the same baddie. But since Magic Diary Tom dies here, future Voldemort wouldn't really know about this at all. Is he even aware of other Horcruxes' deaths? Just curious. I don't know. Magic creates loopholes all over.
And I'm pretty sure he knows about Horcruxes being destroyed, because I remember in Deathly Hallows, like whenever they would destroy a Horcrux, he would feel it in his soul, basically. So, I think he figured out. Oh shoot, the diary was my first Horcrux was destroyed there.
I'm cool with, because magic. While the first movie was mostly about love with a dabbling of choice, Chamber of Secrets is firmly about the choices we make and how they define us even more than who we are or what our heritage is. That's why Tom is a teenager to give us some obvious parallels with Harry. Harry had all the same opportunities and powers to be as evil as Voldemort. Even the Sorting Hat says Harry would have
done well in Slytherin.
Instead, he uses those abilities like Parseltongue to save Ginny. Harry's still a great role model even if he and his buddies keep breaking rules and lying. At least they do it for the right reasons.
Right, yeah.
And it's fun to watch these characters and actors grow into their talent. As his last performance, Richard Harris deserves some praise.
Yeah.
Whether you prefer Harris's Dumbledore or Michael Gambon's representation, it's interesting how they ended up playing out.
I mean, I personally like them both equally. Like, they both did a great job. Even if, well, Gambon had a few moments where I'm like, I'm not sure about that. Like, there's a pretty infamous scene in Goblet, but we'll talk about that when we get there.
Richard Harris is much more soft-spoken and comes off as a wise old mentor, while Gambon seems to get angrier and angrier as the movies progress, which makes sense given the nature of each film's tone and threat. Either way, rest in peace, Richard Harris, and thank you for starting the series off right. Rowling's biggest strength as a storyteller is her ability to set up believable red herrings. She does it in the first 4 books. This time it was Malfoy. Every time I think it's going to be believable red herrings.
What?
She does it in the first 4 books. This time...
Oh, I never even noticed that. Draco just rips that paper out. Why?
It was Malfoy. Every time I think it's going to be a straightforward baddie, she pulls the rug out. I think the biggest lesson to learn is never trust the Defense Against the Dark Arts professor.
Yeah.
Odds are they will betray you, fail you, or otherwise try to kill you.
Literally.
But we all learn something new every day.
Like, Lupin's the only good Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher.
Even Malfoy.
I didn't know you could read.
Oh, that's I was kind of surprised that was it. This is a relatively short video, but oh well. 111 wins. British desserts.
Lemon sherbet.
Okay, and that was Chamber of Secrets. Again, I personally like it better than the first one, just because I do think it has a more interesting story. But even though I do like the first movie, and Yeah, I mean, I do think these first two movies, of course, were directed by the same guy, Chris Columbus. He brought some really nice childlike wonder and genuine magic to these movies, which was really nice. And of course, after this, we move on to the darker movies, which I'm really excited to get to the next one because that is definitely one of my favorites. So that'll be all for now. So peace.